Clayton, in most of the stories in Mark, when Jesus does a miracle, he tells the person to not tell anybody. But in Mark chapter 5, Jesus casts out the demons and then tells the man to go home and tell the people what God has done for him. Why did he want this guy to share about Jesus, but not the other people? Okay, this is a really good question, and you're noticing a great pattern. We've talked about it a little bit on the podcast. There's this idea in Mark called the Markan secret. That's what scholars call it. This pattern where Jesus says to people, don't tell anybody what I'm doing. Don't tell anybody who I am. It's like Jesus is trying to control when the full story is revealed so that he can get ahead of the kind of the situation there. Like if they hear and the crowds find out, oh, he's the king, they're going to try to make him king too soon, and the authorities are going to clamp down and he's going to die too soon. So he's trying to control the messaging here. And yet in this case, unlike all the other situations, he says, go ahead and go tell your family. Go ahead and tell your neighbors. Go back to your home and you tell people what God has done for you. And what's interesting is the difference between this situation and most of the other situations is Jesus is in a Gentile region. Okay, so most of the other places, he's in highly Jewish areas. And in this case, he has gone across the Sea of Galilee to a place where it's mostly Gentiles. And so Jesus, in some ways, is okay with the message going out there because he knows that the reaction will not be this overwhelming, mobs of people saying the Messiah is here, because these are people who aren't necessarily looking for the Jewish Messiah. And so it seems like, and that's speculation, there's no verse that says exactly what it is, but it seems like that is the big difference. Now, one of the observations I have about that passage, it's really funny. When Jesus says, go tell them how much God has done for you, the immediate next thing is it says, he went and told them how much Jesus had done for them. This is Mark's way of winking at us, saying, in the way I'm telling the story, you know the point here. Jesus said, tell them what God has done for you. And this man said, he said what Jesus did for him. And so guess what, guys? They may not have realized it then, but you know that Jesus actually is God. Now, here's the thing. In our situation, in our day and age, I think the Markan secret was temporary, okay? We are to be telling people wherever we are. We're supposed to be like this guy, okay? The guy who was set free from the demons and went and said, look at what Jesus has done for me. That's what we're supposed to be like. And so even though Jesus was managing the message in the first century, during the 3 years he was on earth doing his ministry, he was controlling what that is. For us, he's let us loose, right? Like at the end of the Gospel of Matthew, not the Gospel of Mark, he says, go and tell all the nations, right? The book of Acts is like, go to the ends of the earth. This is what we're supposed to be doing. We're not supposed to be holding back at all. The Markan secret was temporary, so have at it and tell people. Thanks for listening. If you've got your own questions, email questions@BibleSavvy.com. Like and subscribe to catch our regular episodes every Monday on the Bible Savvy Podcast.